Welcome to the Whisper Report, where we explore the untold, the misunderstood, and the silent voices of history and fame. This channel shares emotionally driven storytelling based on publicly available sources and documented history. While we aim to protect facts with care, this content also reflects human complexity, interpretation, and the whisper between the headlines. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to the Whisper Report, where beauty is never protection and truth always find a way through silence. This is the story of a woman with a face the world adored and spirit the government feared. She was Hollywood's IG New, a French New Wave muse, and a quiet supporter of justice. But for that, they watched her, followed her, and whispered a lie so cruel it destroyed her. This is the story of Jean Seberg, the star the F.B.I. tried to erase. The girl from Iowa. Before the whispers and the headlines, there was just Jean. Jean Dorothy Seberg was born on November 13, 1938, in the quiet town of Marshalltown, Iowa. She was the daughter of a pharmacist and a substitute teacher, a small town girl with big luminous eyes and even bigger dreams. Jean wasn't born into fame. She wasn't groomed for the screen. She simply believed in the magic of film. From a young age, she immersed herself in books and local theater. By 17, she was studying at the University of Iowa, but fate had other plans. A nationwide talent search changed everything. Out of 18,000 hopefuls, Jean was chosen by a director named Otto Preminger to play Joan of Arc in his 1957 film, Saint Joan. It was her very first role, and one of the most controversial castings of the decade. Critics were harsh. They tore into her inexperience, her voice, her youth. But Jean didn't break. She returned for another Preminger film, Bonjour Treatise, and then something remarkable happened. France discovered her. At just 21 years old, she starred in Jean-Luc Godard's Breathless, a role that would immortalize her in French New Wave cinema. With her pixie haircut and breathy, effortless charm, Jean wasn't just an actress anymore, she was an icon. But behind the effortless cool, Jean was still that girl from Iowa, vulnerable, curious, and constantly searching for meaning beyond the screen. And that search will lead her to a cause, a choice, a decision that would change the course of her life forever. The price of a cause. When Jean spoke up, the whispers turned into surveillance. By the late 1960s, Jean Seberg had conquered European cinema, but her focus was shifting away from scripts and premieres and toward people. She began using her fame and wealth to support civil rights organizations, including the NAACP, Native American movements, and most nobly, the Black Panther Party. To Jean, this wasn't political, it was human. She believed in equality, in justice, in freedom, but in the eyes of J. Edgar Hoover's F.B.I., it was a threat. At the height of COINTELPRO, the FBI's covert operation to sabotage activists, Jean became a target, not for committing a crime, not for breaking any laws, but for caring. FBI memos labeled her as, and I quote, a financial supporter of subversive groups. But what they did next was unforgivable. In 1970, when Jean was pregnant, the FBI spread a cruel lie that the baby she was carrying belonged to a Black Panther member. They leaked it into the press anonymously, intending to humiliate her. And it worked. The Los Angeles Times, Newsweek, and Time magazine all ran with the rumor. Jean, already vulnerable, was shattered. She gave birth prematurely. The baby died 2 days later. Jean arranged a public funeral. She placed her daughter's tiny body in an open casket. To prove the child's father was white. Imagine the pain of that. The damage was done to her reputation, to her mind, and to her heart. The silence they wanted. You can destroy a person without ever touching them. Jean Seberg was a living proof. After the FBI smear campaign, Jean Seberg was never the same. The lies, the grief, and the public scrutiny sent her in a spiral of paranoia and depression. She became withdrawn, her once radiant presence dimmed. She was hospitalized multiple times for mental health struggles. Her career opportunities dried up, not because of her talent, but because of her name that had been tainted. In private, Jean still tried to find peace. She continued to act, though rarely in roles worthy of her abilities. She raised her son Diego and sought refuge in Paris, far from the country that had vilified her. Jean Seberg's story isn't just one of stardom and scandal. It's a warning, a haunting whisper from history, reminding us how quickly truth can be buried beneath agendas, and how a woman's voice, powerful, passionate, and unapologetic, can terrify the wrong people. This was the Whisper Report. If her story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because some voices, no matter how faint, deserve to be heard forever.